Hello all. Thanks for joining in again. One more amazing evening with Amazing Sellers. This is Prem Kumar. Here we have got Kavita Madhvani today from Fighter Shots. Welcome to the webinar of Amazing Sellers. We are all about inspiring each other in this community, and obviously your story it's very much inspiring. As I said, your story has inspired me to start a new brand as well. So this year I'll be starting a new brand with your inspiration. Thank you so much for the inspiration. Um, so let me share the screen quickly. So for today's agenda, we will be having a structured Q&A with Kavita Madhvani. She's going to share the startup journey of her business that she co-founded with her another founder, Anne, right? Anne.
Yes. Yeah.
Fine, yeah. And she's also going to share about the current state of the business, what were the challenges all the way through to this position, what are the biggest ambitions that she has for the business. And the biggest takeaway from this webinar would be how can you pivot fast based on the circumstances, and COVID has proven to be difficult for a lot of business. And you can find from this webinar how Kavita's business has pivoted faster against COVID circumstances and how they come across all the problems and took all the challenges like pro business people. Yeah, thank you so much. And today's webinar is sponsored by Flow Fulfillment. Shibu Philip, one of the members of our community, he has started a fulfillment center in Surrey. For any of your FBA preparation requirements, speak to him. Support one of the new businesses from within our community. It feels really good to support that. And also, we are supported by Clear Cloud Accounting. Jordan Kausil is in our WhatsApp group. If you have anything related to your accounting requirements, speak to them. They are right there in the WhatsApp group. And they also have an offer running for the first month free offer. It's running at the moment. So speak to him, avail the offer. Yeah. And today's webinar is being hosted by our beloved Teddy Smith, as always. It's been for a couple of, quite a few webinars so far. Thanks for that, Teddy. Thanks for your time. Teddy Smith also provides beginners business support. Anybody that wants to start a business in Amazon without knowing what they are going to sell, he's there to help. Also, he also provides support for existing brands to start their shop on Amazon. And if any of the businesses are already there on Amazon, but they do not have exciting A plus content pages or shopfront, he is the pro person to go to and design those pages. And I have seen his pages; they are really so beautiful. So speak to him as well. And mainly about the business support for beginners. The approach is very successful. It's a very handheld approach where you get 10 hours over 4 months period. And that's very critical for any business. Even though if you go through a number of videos, you need somebody to help you go through the problem of starting a business. And we speak about Amazon a lot here because that gives you a good leg room for starting with little money, but obviously you need to put more money in. Amazon is a good starting point, and that's why he's providing support on Amazon. The money that you need to pay is £500. It's not much compared to many other courses out there. And also, it's not a course, it's a very handheld one-to-one approach, not a group chat approach. It has worked really well. There have been 4 successful mentees so far, and they have all started their business. I have seen their brands, and it's very professional. It's not like flipping things. It's properly value-added products, and you will learn from him quite a lot. There is an optional video course from him, which can help you with a lot of troubleshooting and starting up issues, and also an ongoing PPC kind of setup. All these things are there available in his video course. That's $4.99 as an optional video course. You may want it or not want it. It's quite up to you. But the one-to-one approach, that's very successful. Yeah, that's steady. For any of these inquiries for Flow Fulfillment or Clear Cloud Accounting or for Teddy, please get in touch with me. That's Prem Kumar at AmazingSellers.com. Without any further ado, I'll leave it to Teddy and Kavita. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Prem.
Thank you, Prem. So, Kavita, do you want to just give us an overview of your business? Tell us, the name of the business, what it is you do, how you came up with the idea, all that sort of stuff.
Sure. Firstly, obviously, good afternoon, everyone, from kind of the UK or Europe, and good evening from Dubai. So I'm based in Dubai, but the business actually did originate in the UK. Me and my business partner, Anna, who is actually the founder of Fighter Shots, we came up with the business idea back in 2019. We had a lot of kind of common interest and common networks through our business school. So we got a lot of support through kind of our London Business School incubator. And the idea sort of started initially with Anna being kind of a consultant at Airbus in Switzerland, where people drink a lot of coffee because consultants work long hours. But she actually found that in Switzerland, they were drinking shots. So she thought, give it a try, give it a go. And when she came over to the UK, she actually couldn't find, the equivalent of these shots. So she found some shots, but they just didn't taste very good. So while she was doing her MBA, started concocting kind of different sort of flavors, different shots at home, just obviously for herself. And the idea kind of spiraled really. After finishing and completing her MBA, she did the full-time MBA. She basically was concocting these things in her kitchen with her help of her friends. And we basically started it in her kitchen. And the main focus for us was really on using 100% natural ingredients. We weren't so much kind of in the know, because both of us actually came from consulting or financial services background. So we didn't know too much about food and beverage, but what we thought was keep it simple, keep it natural, keep it really kind of 100% organic if we can, and appeal to the market, from that sort of angle. And, we started in our kitchen, and we managed to kind of sell out all of the 5,000 shots we made in our kitchen. And, like I said, it just kind of spiraled from there. We onboarded a manufacturer early 2020, and we said, we're going to do a production run. We're going to put money behind this. At first, it was just savings. It wasn't actually, anything more than savings. And it was around the kind of 20K mark, which was still quite steep for us because both of us, had just done our MBA. So, there's an element of how we're going to get kind of the risk and reward. But we we kind of dived in, and it was January 2020 when we went kind of live, I would say, with our first big production run, which was 10,000 units. And that's where the journey started. In terms of the name, so Anna worked at Airbus, and she actually did a lot of work for the fighter shots. So actually, in terms of like fighter planes and fighter shots, so this is where the name sort of came up, and we kind of linked it to being a really kind of strong name for the actual shots. So that's how the name originated. And our manufacturer is Brew and Bottle in London, in Tottenham.
Cool. And just to confirm, these are like healthy vegetable shots. They're not like alcoholic shots.
100% natural. So we're slying away from the alcohol, but it's just small little bottles full of goodness.
Perfect. And so how many products have you got now? So I guess you just start out of one range, and now you've expanded to a few different products, have you?
Yep. So initially we started out with the ginger shot, which was kind of the plain, all organic, cold pressed ginger shot, which is till this day our bestseller. But now we have 5 SKUs. So we expanded into ginger turmeric, ginger collagen, ginger manuka honey, which was just like a premium to our ginger shot. because of the added benefits of Manuka honey. And then we also have ginger beetroot, which is our fully first vegan shot.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love beetroot. So with your shots, when you say you started out in January 20, was it 20 January last year? You said you started out.
Yeah.
So where was your initial channels? Were you just selling online, or were you selling directly to customers?
We were very kind of in the initial stages of doing our listings. So we were trying to sell online and set up our website. But actually our first sort of go-to market strategy was actually healthy executives, because both of us had been to business school, both of us had a network of executives. So it was quite a natural sort of, flow to target companies, offices. We had worked in offices before. So again, we had contacts in the space. We knew of kind of online listings like City Pantry. We got a connection through our business school for a wholesale DDC listing. So we actually were trying to utilize our network first, rather than kind of going into unknown territory. But obviously, as you all know, that quickly dried up by the end of March. It did go really well, to be honest, for the first few months that we did manage to target the healthy executive market. But obviously we had no idea that COVID-19 was going to come, and we were going to, that kind of whole sales channel just dried up instantly, literally within, I would say, overnight. And that's when, we really started to channel in on our online kind of marketing, online listings. We made sure that they looked good. We put up pictures. Before, it was very basic, and we didn't actually have much information about the product. But that's kind of the time where we kind of sat down and we kind of refigured what to do, how to do it. We also got an angel investor on board at that point, because we wanted to scale, but we just didn't know how to, because of all of this kind of, the sales avenue that we had all dried up. So we got a loan from an angel investor. And that kind of helped us with our kind of production run in May, because actually online we sold out quite quickly in April, because people were kind of bulk buying, and we didn't anticipate that.
So when you say just now you're talking about your online listings and things, were you selling them just on your own website, or was it on places like Amazon or anything like that as well?
Yeah, so Amazon was kind of probably the first listing we did, even before, even setting up the Shopify website. Shopify can take a little while to get used to, and, to make it look aesthetically well. So we started on Amazon, to be honest, probably first. We listed all of the shots on Amazon. And yeah, Amazon has actually been probably our biggest sales channel till today. We are really trying to kind of channel in and build our own SEO for our own website. But it's obviously very difficult. Everyone uses Amazon. It's easy. You've got Prime. And again, it's like, it's the top ad, when you Google anything. So it's pretty hard to beat.
It's such a difficult decision for business to make, whether to put all their effort into like building SEO and their own sales channels, or to just concentrate on Amazon, where it's pretty much done for you and it's really easy. Obviously you want to own the traffic.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, obviously with Amazon, there's listing fees, there's obviously a lot of logistics. Whereas with our kind of website, hopefully, once we do get to a better stage, the margins will be better, because there won't be that listing fee, and there won't be kind of, the logistics behind it. So, that's why, this year, since our fundraise, we have actually been channeling kind of, a lot of marketing efforts and ads efforts, like Google Ads, for example, into that space.
Cool. Yes, one of the things that a lot of the people that come to these events, they're based, a lot of them are online sellers. So would you mind telling us a bit more about like how much you've been making on Amazon or anything like that? Or
yeah, sure. So this year we've been pretty successful. So in the last 2 months, we've been hitting around 20K mark. In April, May and June last year, we had crazy sales because I think people were just, like I said, bulk buying, and it wasn't anything to really gauge the business by. But one of the months over there, we actually sold 30k.
Wow.
But that was literally like it sold out our whole inventory.
How did that compare? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how did that compare to what you were doing before the pandemic?
Yeah, exactly. So it was just all unexpected. We thought, we've dried up this whole sales channel with all of the offices, but then suddenly like Amazon was just exploding.
Yeah.
But obviously with Amazon, it's not always seamless. You get a lot of problems, or you get wrong packages sent, or, packages has a problem, or, so there was a lot of like, follow-ups. There was a lot of kind of responding to your clients. And we just weren't in a position to kind of actually deal with all of that. So, it was a bit crazy, but obviously it was really good because it gave us that belief in our product, and that people were actually, buying our product, interested in our product. Obviously, COVID-19 really pushed health and, wellness up on the agenda, and people are obviously more cognizant of their health. And, one of the best ways I think, to beat any sort of cold or flu is through natural remedies. You always try naturally before, taking medicine. So, I think it's a great way that people have been exploring our product.
Awesome. You touched on a little bit earlier with the funding that you've raised. So I think you mentioned that you've done crowdfunding. Is that the only funding you've done? Or
yes.
And also,
so
tell us how that works as well.
Yeah, sure. So we did have, like I mentioned, a loan from an angel investor. But once we got enough funds to kind of pay that back, we did that as soon as possible. And then, yes, we raised funds in July last year through Crowdcube, so a crowdfunding platform. I was actually really hesitant to do it. And a lot of our investors at the time, the two angel investors that had given us the loan, and also people that were just kind of advising us and helping us within the business, and friends from our MBA did tell us, it's a really, really kind of shady time to start a fundraise. But we really believed in the product. I was a little bit skeptical, thinking that we may not achieve our target, but we may achieve, something which is better than nothing.
Yep.
And to my surprise, we actually ended up, reaching our minimum funding target within 24 hours.
Wow.
And that was a phenomenal feeling. I remember kind of watching kind of the pot grow, and I really couldn't believe it, if I'm honest. I just thought, wow, like there's so much belief in our business, not just us.
What was your minimum funding target?
Our minimum funding target was 75k, and our maximum was 150k, and I am pleased to say we maxed out at 150k.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so cool. I'd really like to do one of those one day myself. They sound really fun.
Yeah, so and I think one of the best things about Crowdcube and doing the crowdfunding was actually how easy it was. I was a bit worried about the process and, going through all of the different sort of like legal requirements and, documents. And like, I remember looking at the requirements. This was at the very beginning when we started talking to Crowdcube, which was earlier in the year. I just felt like, oh my God, this is going to be an uphill battle. But to be honest, it was just so seamless. We had probably a meeting every week with our kind of account manager. Yep. And they helped us with our pitch deck. They reviewed it. They gave us feedback. They actually gave us samples to help, curate our own. And I just felt like, they were really, really kind of on our side, and not just kind of, here's a crowdfunding platform, go do your thing. So I just felt like we were very well looked after.
With Crowdcube, did you have to give away equity in the business, or was it a case of just giving away free products like you do?
No, so we did give away equity. So we did like a high level kind of valuation and forecast for the business. And yeah, we ended up giving just shy of kind of, I think it was 9% equity in total for 150k.
Right. Okay, cool. That makes sense. So I think one of the other things that you were talking about earlier, which I think was really interesting, was you were talking about advisors that you've had. Like, how have you found them, and what help have you found they've given you? Because I think that's something that I would really like in my business.
Yep, sure. So advisors have actually been a really pivotal part of our business. We found a few of them through actually the crowdfunding. So a lot of friends and, like from our business school network, especially kind of had the word going round, and, they were telling their friends. So we got a lot of interest via LinkedIn. And, one of the things that we found was we had one advisor who we met through our business school network. And he actually is an angel, like an avid angel investor. And he's been really, really helpful from kind of a more marketing and literature perspective. And just kind of giving us advice on kind of how we present the product, how we kind of support our claims, for example, and just more kind of on how we present ourselves, which is really, really important at the beginning part of your business and the beginning stages. And we also found another advisor. His name is Rob. He's actually he was actually solely found through kind of Crowdcube. He invested in us and bought our product. So again, he was very familiar with Fighter Shots. And he contacted us via email and asked us about a product problem, which then led to having conversations about actually kind of helping, and from a marketing angle, because he actually is a senior executive at CNN. And one thing has led to another, and he's been kind of really, really helpful on sort of the marketing angle in terms of Google ads, Facebook ads, getting us in touch with marketing agencies, influencer marketing. So again, we found them through our raise. And I think people who are interested in your business and actually do care about the business and like the product naturally will come forward and ask, can we help? Can we do anything? We really like your product. They'll give feedback. They'll give improvement, kind of like positive criticisms. So this is how we found them.
Great, thank you. There's a couple of questions that are quite good in the audience from Damien. So he says, how important is it to have new innovative products that are natural and sustainable and vegan and things like that?
I
also asked how big your shots are.
To be honest, I think, from the angle of sustainability, we have had so much interest because, the shots are in glass bottles. And one, we're doing it from a perspective that there's no kind of plastic leakage, there's no chemicals, and, it tastes fresh. And that's kind of what we want, but hitting kind of those key words like sustainability, vegan, plant-based, is actually really, really important because people are becoming more and more aware of, environmental changes, climate change, how it's affecting our kind of, just the food chain, really. So I think, it is really important to have innovative products. It's really important to understand, behind the scenes why we're doing it, because it's obviously cheaper to do plastic, but we've opted not to. And a lot of firms and a lot of people still ask till today, like, why isn't it in plastic? It would be easier to transport. It would be, less hassle. And but like, we're actually really stuck to that. We're kind of stuck to the vision of actually trying to make it taste better, because when it's in glass, it tastes more fresh. And there's no leakages, like I said. So, and there's no preservatives in our product. So again, we can't have it in plastic and so forth.
Great. That's really interesting. So is the glass a lot more expensive than the plastic ones then?
I think it's just marginally more expensive, but not like crazy. But I think a lot of people shy away from it because of, transport. It is difficult. We have to use double layer packaging. Our packaging is both done from the UK and Poland. So Anna is Polish, so she's got lots of contacts in Poland, and they've just recently done our new boxes, which I'm really, really excited about, because they've been totally revamped. I'll try and send over a picture because I'm really, really excited about them.
Yeah, we'll do that then when we come to some of the questions. So this is there's quite a few questions that are around this sort of area, but how much capital did you have to invest, like at first out of your own money, and then have you invested more since then?
Yes, so we've definitely invested right at the beginning. Like I said, it was around kind of the 20k mark, and we did put in, I think, an extra 10k initially, so it totaled up to around 30k. And we tried to kind of, take that back from the business as soon as we could. And then that's why we kind of sought the angel investing. And it was a loan, it wasn't equity based, it wasn't anything like that. It was just purely a loan, and it was an angel loan, so actually they didn't charge us anything, which was really, really nice on them. It was just kind of a fixed term loan, and that was actually really, really helpful to help us kind of leapfrog from kind of where we were. So that was kind of the start of our business, and then the crowdfunding just really helped kind of lift off and let us do a lot more. Like we've quadrupled production since June last year.
What was that 20k mostly for your initial purchase of stock, or was that for other things as well?
So it was for the initial kind of ingredients, for stock, for any kind of ad hoc listings that we needed the money for, like DDC, Tree of Life, you need to pay up front. And it wasn't for like huge, we couldn't have obviously afforded like Holland and Barrett back in January 2020. But as time went on, we could. But those kind of initial push, and even when we kind of expanded to the U.A.E, so I now sell the product here in Dubai. I again, put the cash up front. Again, I think it was around 10k. And that was just to make sure that the shipping costs were covered, the license costs were covered. But again, with our first shipment, we made that money back. We made sure we got a contract, and we got a regular supplier.
Awesome. So with the food and drinks industry generally, like because I remember you said you like made the products yourself up front, but then you just said you had to like buy the ingredients. Was it just like a factory that you said, can you just make this for us, or did you say, I've got a load of ginger, can you turn it into shots?
No, I wish it was like that, but no. So we obviously brought all the ingredients from different sort of suppliers, and we obviously made sure that the manufacturer and the factory had a set kind of ingredients, and they did the shot, and like they filtered the shot in a certain way as well, and they did the mixing ahead of time, and again, when we were allowed into the factory, we did go. We used to go and have pure oversight. Unfortunately, last November and even January, our production, we weren't allowed to go in. We were only allowed to collect the pallets. Yep. And again, it's a very hands-on business. Like we collect our own pallets. We, it's just, we zip car it, we go in, we deliver to our warehouse facility. So, we do have kind of oversight, but no, we do give them the breakdown of ingredients. We send all of the inventory there. Our factory are very hands-on, and very, very helpful.
Wow, is that yeah, I had never really thought through how that processes work, whether you just call them up and say, can you just add ginger to this, or no, you have to like buy all the stuff yourself. Someone here Shiba is a fan of ginger shots and has just bought some with 10% off the website. So there you go. Damien's got a great question. So I'm guessing your products have like a shelf life because of the nature of their products. Yes. Have you had to change that for like the U.A.E or for different countries or anything like that? Or
that's a very good question. So our shelf life is up to 1 year, and in U.A.E, because the ambient products are at a different temperature of ambient, it's been a little bit tricky. We're still going with 1 year here, because we've got a controlled temperature kind of warehouse, and actually the very first 2 pallets arrived in my flat, so I had a flat full of ginger shots. It was the epitome of startup life. I think my husband was walking around the flat saying, how are you going to sell 1,000 boxes? But we haven't had to drastically change the shelf life, and now that we are kind of over a year into production, we've tasted the product as well. And we still think it tastes very fresh as long as you do keep it in the fridge beforehand. You don't have to keep it in the fridge because it is an ambient product, but we feel like it tastes better and more refreshing from the fridge.
Awesome. There's one of these sessions a few weeks ago. We had someone who made candles out of his flat at first before he expanded, and I just can't imagine how his flat would have smelled.
Oh God, amazing. Candle making is amazing. Actually, one of our interns does that as like a hobby, and she was writing a blog about it for us. So it's so interesting, candle making.
Yeah. There's some good question here from Alex, who was one of our speakers a few weeks ago, but he said, how do you go about valuing the company to put on Crowdcube? Are there any factors that, other than revenue, that was important? And what dollar revenue was the valuation based off?
Yeah, sure. So the valuation was a little bit difficult because, we only had less than 6 months of, revenues, and it was quite difficult to kind of come up with, but we got a lot of support from our business school. So we had it checked through and thoroughly from kind of our accounting professors, our finance professors. We used a lot of ballpark figures because, for example, we had got listings with the Tree of Life, and we were working on a listing with Holland and Barrett. So we knew that there was potential that could be kind of a huge upside, but then also we had to make sure that we don't overvalue those listings. So there was a lot of forecasting, and at that time the revenues weren't what they are today. So and we had those sporadic months on Amazon. So it was difficult, but we got a lot of kind of like I said, insight from our professors, from our kind of industry experts as well. So we had a lot of kind of help to kind of formulate the valuation, and also even when doing kind of the multiple on the valuation as well, we tried to keep it very conservative because we didn't want to kind of just be like, yeah, we're going to make 3 times or 4 times that money. It's all well and good to value like that, but we didn't want to overvalue as well because we were a very young business.
And with your forecast that you made, has that sort of come true, or is it because of?
Yeah, so it's actually, so we were trying, well, in kind of year 2 of kind of production, we were saying that we want to aim for at least kind of 500,000 units. And actually this year we've already forecasted, to do 1 million. So we're kind of a little bit above our forecast because we've got really good contracts in place. So we're really, really lucky. And we're still continuing contracts with, and conversations with large kind of European supermarkets and other listings. One of the ones that we've just recently secured, and I can say now, is Superdrug, which is, one of I think it's the second largest retailer for beauty and cosmetics. So we're really, really excited about that.
Wow, awesome. Congratulations. Damien says congratulations as well.
Thank you.
And there's a question, are the projections based on an increased growth in existing market or reliant on new territories?
So they were mostly reliant on the existing market, so in the UK, because all the other new territories would have kind of a smaller population overall. So they were kind of done on more of the existing market, to be honest. But again, we did a lot on kind of expansion, for example, U.A.E, Europe, and so forth.
Yeah, awesome. So one thing that a lot of people, the students I work with, they want to do food and drinks products, but I think they are slightly worried about things like approvals and certifications and getting them into the market. So I guess doing it in your own country, like the UK, is probably a bit easier than going abroad. But what are your thoughts on like that, basically?
Yeah, no, it's really, really difficult with claims. And, one of the things that we've had to do is totally revamp all of the kind of the ways that we kind of pitch on the bottle itself. So we used to have a claim saying fights fever. And whilst that isn't medically or a medical claim, it proved to be very difficult when exporting. Right. In the UK, I felt like things are a little bit more relaxed. Whereas in the UAE, it was like, no, that's a medical claim. You need to get rid of it. So we did. So we had a whole revamp of our branding recently, and we completely kind of like we took away all of our claims as such, even though we tried to use kind of intelligent language like supports immunity rather than anything else. So again, it was just all of that is quite difficult to deal with, but also from the manufacturing perspective and the factory perspective, it's always good to get a really kind of high standard factory on board. So we've got a SALS certified factory on board, so that obviously really helps.
You've got to be really careful on Amazon with making those claims as well, because they actually have bots that troll these things, and even if you're just making like a kind of offhand comment, they might just like ban your listing.
And that's actually happened to us. So they've banned our ginger collagen listing, and we just don't know how to get it back.
Okay.
So if anyone can help, let me know.
I might be able to help. We can have a chat later if you like.
Okay. So that's actually, it's become a really big problem, because I think, again, the health claims and hazards around collagen, and they're saying to us that it's more of a supplement than, it's just, a minefield.
Awesome. So there's a couple more questions will come through into the chat. So Alex again has asked, when you received an angel loan but they didn't charge you any interest in the amounts, what is the benefit of the angel investor in that case?
So I think they were looking at a more long-term perspective of the business. So they wanted to invest in more kind of they wanted to invest more over a certain period of time. However, we had a bit of problems with them, and we were kind of on disagreement terms with them in terms of our Crowdcube raise. So that's why we paid it back, and we discontinued our relationship, unfortunately. So and there's always ups and downs in a business, and that was a really difficult time because it was just prior to our raise. So we had to make sure that we paid them back, which obviously kind of left our cash flow like nearly empty. But these things happen, and we tried to kind of press on and make sure that we did kind of complete our race successfully.
Okay, so he would have taken interest had you carried on keeping the money, is what you mean?
Yeah. So right. I think further down the line they were going to give us more and more money if we didn't go down the crowdfunding route, and they wanted to help kind of boost the business overall, but they just wanted a far too larger chunk of equity, and we just weren't willing to give up close to, I think they wanted over 40%, and it was just really difficult.
It's a bit like Dragon's Den when they try and come in one go. It's like, no, too much.
Yeah, exactly.
So Celine says, did you find that your entrepreneurship course helped, and would you recommend doing one before launching a business? I think you said you did an MBA, didn't you, rather than an entrepreneurship course?
I did an MBA, and I also did an entrepreneurship course from also my business school. They gave it to us for free because of the pandemic, and it was called like Startup Success, 5 Proven Business Models. And it was actually really interesting because there are dynamics in the course that you don't necessarily get to think about, like, finding a co-founder, trusting someone with your business, how to do kind of the equity split, thinking about sweat equity, thinking about how to kind of do product development. So it was really valuable. And like I said, it kind of gives you an eye-opener perspective to other parts and angles of the business that you don't necessarily think about all the time. So I would highly recommend doing a course.
That particular course, or just any course?
That particular course is amazing. But again, I'm sure there's equivalent entrepreneurship courses out there. So I'm happy to kind of look and recommend some as well.
What was the name of that course? Is that available to anyone, or is that just?
It was actually John Mullins. He actually is a known kind of serial entrepreneur, and it was called 5 Proven Business Models, Startup Success.
Right, good recommendation. Thanks. So there's a question here from Vid, who actually I work with. So he says, have you done any market or target audience research prior to launching your products? So did you look into like who would buy your products before you started?
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, we initially went out to kind of the healthy executive market, mainly because we knew, because we were working in the industry, that everyone drinks lots of coffee, and that people are more and more kind of cognizant of what they're doing and what they're putting in their bodies. So we wanted to produce something that had kind of that natural effect, but also gave you that boost of energy. And we also looked at sort of the angle of health and fitness, because it was more of a lifestyle product. So we did try and do some research, and we've tried to do more recently some influencer marketing around kind of fitness and the health industry. So we target gyms, for example. That's kind of our natural sort of sales strategy from that. And, we've looked at kind of hotels as well, because of their spas, because of their gyms, but also because it's a great kind of pick me up in the morning.
Nice. Talking about influence marketing, Alex, who asked the question just now, he did a talk with Prem and I a few weeks ago, all about influence marketing. So you should catch up with him. All that, watch that video. It's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have to catch up with you, Alex.
Okay, so with your marketing, so I think your branding is really like it's so simple and really amazing. When you were conceiving it, like how did you think about that, like branding? How did you go to market to like test it, or was it just something you liked? Or
to be honest, and this is a really, really honest answer, we wanted something really bold, really clear. And when we were looking at similar brands that we liked in the industry, and these are more fashion brands, I have to admit, but we looked at kind of, Burberry and YSL and, those big kind of fashion brands. And if you look at the trend of those fashion brands, they've all gone to kind of bold lettering. And they used to have sort of classic writing or, squiggly writing, but they've all gone for like that classic bold writing. And we actually thought, it's a really strong name if it's bold, and if it's just really kind of just, in your face, it will be kind of the best way to get across the brand image. We recently did a bit more kind of branding. So it used to be kind of just like this, really kind of clear and just very bold. And we did that on Canva. So we actually did it ourselves, just using a basic font that was for free.
yeah,
And everything, all of our flyers were done ourselves on Canva. All of our labels were done on Canva. We just recently had them rebranded.
nice. And when you started selling on Amazon as well, did you, because it sounds like you've done quite a lot of it yourself, so I think I know the answer to this, but did you use any like agencies or anything to help you with getting set up on Amazon, or was it all just DIY?
It was all DIY. Again, probably not the best way, because again, like I said, the collagen one has kind of dropped off. But even in Dubai, for example, I spent kind of those hours just listing the product myself, making sure we've got the right products and right photos on there, we've captured the right information, the barcodes were done correctly, and so forth. A lot of it is linked, so Amazon is obviously very good at memory of products, so it wasn't that difficult for me to list them here in UAE, but that we did it all by ourselves.
Nice. I'm a big believer that you should at least start doing it by yourself so that you can learn how it works before outsourcing anything.
Exactly. And plus, like, I think you learn a lot about the system as well. So even from sort of a campaign and advertising perspective, I started doing it myself because I wanted to kind of understand the reports and not have to outsource that. At the moment, we've outsourced Google Ads, and it's difficult to kind of keep track of how to do it and what to do and what the keywords are, even though the guy that's helping us out, the freelancer that we have, is really, really hands-on. But when you're not doing something yourself, you don't learn the same way. So that's why as well, I think.
What do you use any other channels for marketing, or is it mostly just through Amazon at the moment?
So marketing, we do a lot of on social media, so as well as Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're going to try and start a TikTok account next week. Yeah. So we're gearing up on all of the social media channels for marketing.
Do you make any sales directly from the marketing, like Instagram?
We get a lot of referrals from Instagram, and the Instagram shop gets a lot of clicks. We have seen like some kind of end-to-end buys, but again, it's not as much as we'd like. But we do try and spend a lot more time kind of, making stories, making relevant content. Even photography can go a long, long way in content creation.
Do you still make a lot of the content yourself, or do you outsource a lot of that?
No, we do all the content ourselves.
Wow, that must take up so much time.
Yeah, it does. But we've got an intern at the moment, and we just actually are going to get 2 new interns next week from the Kickstart scheme that the government rolled out due to the pandemic. Yeah. So, we're actually getting a lot of hands-on help because, like you said, content takes ages to make. And at one point I was doing it all alone, and that's all I used to do. I used to sit on the sofa, and instead of watching Netflix, I was just making content. I didn't know you'd got the interns. We didn't talk about that before, but how have you found that? Because I've had so many people asking me about the Kickstart scheme and getting interns and how that works, like through various different networks. Did you interview them or anything like that, or are you just given one to? No. So you get to interview them, and they do a personalized cover letter. We got some really, really interesting applications, and we also got some really completely random applications. Yeah. By random, I just mean, people that weren't really kind of interested in the product, clearly hadn't done any research, probably didn't even look at our website. Yeah. But, we interviewed everyone because we wanted to give everyone a fair chance. We only got, I think, just less than 10 applications, maybe 8 or 9. We interviewed everyone, and we only could fill 3 roles. A lot of the applications were very, very young graduates or people with like very, very limited experience. But we actually did find 2 or 3 girls that had, digital marketing experience. So we're going ahead with those 2 applications next week.
Nice, awesome. That's really good. When you were doing your internship application, was it like a job application where you say we're looking for a social media kind of person?
Yes.
Or is it?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Right. Yes. So we geared it towards digital marketing and content creation, right. Specifically because it, like you said, it takes so much time, and everyone likes different content. So we thought, what's like we can get value out of having a few different people create content, and we also wanted people to or interns to write more about kind of fighter shots and behind the scenes and blog posts, because we don't do that enough because we just don't have the time. So we got really keen kind of writers on board as well, so people that are really keen on natural products, veganism and so forth. So really excited about that.
Awesome. That's been so good, everything you said so far. I guess it'd be really good to talk about what your plans are next. So are you planning on expanding or different, are you going to expand within the countries you're in, or is it different countries?
So we really are looking to kind of build and expand. One of the biggest kind of expansion plans for this year is to get into the US market. So we've been really, really working hard with our kind of US agent, the FDA approvals, to try and, kind of conquer into the US. Just getting in seems like an uphill battle at the moment, but I'm sure we'll get there. But that's kind of one of the biggest expansion plans on our kind of agenda this year. And also expanding to Amazon across Europe. So Germany and Netherlands and France are at the top of our list. And U.A.E, we're also expanding into kind of other supermarkets. So like I was saying earlier today, I was having a conversation with a European chain. So, that hopefully will give us a sort of, gateway into Europe again. So, I'm really, really hoping these opportunities flourish.
Awesome. If you do expand into Europe into USA, actually more than Europe, but would you manufacture the products over there, or would you ship it from the UK?
At first we'll ship, just because we are more kind of, that's just the way that we've done the U.A.E, for example. So we're used to that and we are familiar with the process. But obviously, once we've got enough sort of demand, we will obviously look into setting up, production in wherever in the US. At the moment, we're going directly to New York.
Awesome. I don't think I've got any more questions. I guess just if you've got anything you'd want to finish with, like about what your future plans are, or anything that you think people would find handy to finish off?
I think, I'd probably just like to wrap up with, just go and do it. Like one of the things that I really kind of regret not doing earlier is just taking that plunge. And, it sometimes that risk really does pay off. I obviously was also like in a full-time job, and that's your comfort zone, but, really just take the plunge, do it. You might have to learn a lot on the way, but you also learn to kind of, navigate through all of the difficulties. There'll be lots of ups and lots of downs, but, really, really just take that plunge.
Perfect. I'd give exactly the same advice as well. Just do it. JFDI. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say thank you so much for your time, and obviously thanks everyone for the questions. If I've missed anything out, feel free to email me. I'm at kavita@vitaShots.com. I'll pop it in the chat as well. But yeah, it's been kind of lovely to hear from you guys and answer all your questions.
Amazing. Thank you so much, both of you. It was such a wonderful conversation. The chat as well, it got too busy today, and thank you, Damien, for all the beautiful questions out there. Thank you so much. It's very important questions that you asked today. Amazing. Everything was excellent, and thanks for inspiring us once again, Kavita, and very good luck for all your future endeavors. Very quickly, I have Shibu Philip here. Shibu Philip, one of the sponsors of our event, as Flow Fulfillment. He is helping people with FBA prep. Would you like to introduce yourself, Shibu, for just a sentence or two?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Prem. Very interesting, Kavita. It's inspirational.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just placed an order. I like ginger shorts, and it's a 10% offer on your Shopify shop. So it's a good opportunity. Yeah. Let's try that.
Oh, thank you so much.
And thanks to Teddy as well. Basically, our business, we are Amazon sellers for the last 3 years, and we just moved into a warehouse. Our business is growing. So we are thinking of serving other Amazon sellers like ourselves. And the best service, I have seen some problems while I was giving out the services to other parties. So the best, what I want to do a great service for other Amazon sellers. So I know most of the ins and outs, and how important it is to give a good service. So yeah, so what we are offering is we can prepare, pack, and send your shipments to Amazon, and we also offer we can fulfill your orders through eBay for eBay and Amazon, seller fulfilled Prime or fulfilled by merchant. That's all. I'm not a good presenter like all of you.
You did well. I just wanted to put a face to your name there. It's good for everybody to know you. And Shibu was our community member from the very meeting that we had here in Uxbridge.
Yeah,
that's back in 2017, and he had been with us for quite a long time. And I'm really chuffed to see his business is growing. His Amazon business is close to 1 million now in sales, and he's opening up this fulfillment business as well. So good luck to you as well, Shibu. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining in too. You all have a very good evening, and thank you so much again for joining in. Yeah. Thank you. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.